Have you told your friends that you see ghosts?
Oh, absolutely not.
Gina Rodriguez returns in Not Dead Yet.
I'm back, baby.
Who is that?
Oh, she's the obituary writer.
And Brad Garrett joins the brilliant ensemble cast.
Titan, Maverick, Titan of all Mavericks. These are all words used to describe me.
Not Dead Yet. Season premiere. Tonight, 8:30, 7:30 Central on ABC. And stream on Hulu.
It's the Happy Families podcast. It's the podcast for the time-poor parent who just wants answers now.
Well, Kylie, right around the nation at the moment, we have parents of big kids, I'm talking year 12, experiencing, in many cases, a whole lot of pressure because year 12 exams are happening as we speak in several states and are about to happen in several other states. Really interesting time for parents. And next week, we've decided that we're going to offer a little bit of guidance, a little bit of help, a little bit of assistance. We've got some incredible interviews lined up.
You're saying we, like I'm actually part of this.
Well,
I believe that I've been superseded next week.
You haven't been superseded. You've always said that you feel like you don't know what to say in an interview. And so you've asked not
I don't love interviews.
You've asked not to do the interviews. So you
decided to have a week of them, which means you're kicking me off the podcast.
Think of all the time you'll have for homeschooling.
You're so funny.
Can I give you a little taster of who we're going to be chatting with?
Go for it.
Okay, so we're going to be having a chat with a guy by the name of, oh, you know what? No, I'm not going to tell you.
Oh.
I'm not going to tell you.
Are they all academics?
No. They're absolutely not. In fact, the reason that we're having these conversations, not all of them, but several of them, didn't even finish high school.
Are they all dads?
But they've gone on to live incredible lives.
Okay.
Yeah, gone on to live incredible lives. Not going to say whether they're male or female. Not going to drop anything. Some of them got into uni and then dropped out of uni. Some of them didn't even finish high school. Some of them finished high school and sort of just got on with their lives. The conversations are going to be so comforting for any parent who is raising kids who are struggling with school, number one. But number two, these are also great people. And to hear their parenting story, their parenting experiences, I think is going to be brilliant as well. We're going to keep it really short, really focused, but super, super helpful. Oh, I will say this, though. At the end of the week, we're going to have a chat with an academic. Sorry, there's the academic bit for you, who has been looking at the outcomes of kids who do and don't finish high school. And we're going to talk about why high school is important and why it is important for kids to be there, even though the rest of the week is about why school isn't that important, because we've got to have the balance and we've got to highlight that every child is different.
How is 4 against 1 balance?
Well, we've got 4 anecdotes, 4 great stories, but you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised by what the people who didn't finish school have to say about school. And there is one absolute ripper in there that will just blow you away and turn everything that you think about what I've just said on its head. Gosh, this whole podcast could just be about how great next week is going to be.
But it's not going to be about that because Friday is one of our favourite days.
Every Friday, it's I'll do better tomorrow. It's the day where we reflect on how we can be more intentional with our parents and try to be better. Why don't you go first today?
A few weeks ago, we shared our big news that we had decided to withdraw our kids from traditional schooling and homeschool.
When you said big news, I was thinking, hang on, that we just became grandparents or that I broke my neck on my back or that the kids are homeschooling. You've gone with the least exciting of all three, but that's fine. That's fine.
Well, it is my learning from this week,
It is,
right?
okay. I'm so sorry, as you were.
And so I thought I would just give everybody an update on how our first few weeks of unschooling, because we haven't started homeschooling, we're unschooling at the moment, has gone.
I'm fascinated to hear what you've got to say about this because there hasn't, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to make any judgments. Away you go.
I'm just going to put the con out there.
The con.
Straight away.
One big con.
The biggest challenge that I'm having right now is just finding our rhythm. It's really, really hard to find your rhythm.
Because you've kind of gone from having a life, and I'm not saying that in a rude way, but like you've had 6 hours every day where the kids have been at school, where you've been able to do all the things that run the house and run your life and things that matter to you, and all of a sudden you've lost that. And so now you're trying to be with the children and give them the attention and time and care that they need. But a whole lot of those things, then they're compulsory. It's not like they were luxury items that you were living life. You had a full life.
Yeah, so that's probably my biggest struggle right now is just wanting to be more available and present with the kids. They're in my space all the time, but actually wanting to be intentional about what we're doing together, and being constantly interrupted with the urgent of life. But there is a whole list of pros that we're experiencing, which I am just relishing and enjoying. So we've got the con out of the way.
Yep, great.
It is a challenge, and I'm not denying that at all. But as we've started this process, I have been overwhelmed at how many beautiful things I'm recognizing and seeing in my kids that have not been there previously. The first one is just this acknowledgement. I feel like I'm connecting with my kids on a level that I have not previously been able to do. I'm having conversations. These are actually, I'm going to say, child-initiated conversations, deep, heavy, important conversations that they've been holding on to for so long because they felt like our busy lifestyle didn't lend the space that they needed to be able to share those things. And so being able to have those conversations that have opened my eyes up to the world of my children has been mind-blowing. And I'm going to suggest life-altering. It has really created a connection with the children that, like I said, we haven't previously had, but they have felt heard and seen on a level that they haven't experienced before.
I've seen it. I've watched it happening. Not that it's been without its bumps, but I've watched it happening. And there's been a softening in the kids and in their relationship with us.
Yeah. Yeah, that's been magic. I have loved watching how engaged our kids are in life again. There is an engagement that we have been begging for with our children that has just felt all too hard in their lives. And now that we've taken the stress that school brought into their world, that has given them again space to engage in the things that fill their cup and light them up. And so I actually wrote, I'm seeing an engagement in life, but books. Our children love reading books. They all have had a great love of books. But with the busy schedule that we've been living for so long, they have engaged at different levels at different times. And our 13-year-old came to me the other day after just 2 weeks at home. She's like, Mum, I've read 4 books in the last 2 weeks. And that means that she's doing a lot of reading at the moment. There is a lot of downtime for her to do that. But she's lighting up. She's excited again. She's wanting to find new things to read and to discover, what else is out there. There's also been, I want to say zero, but I know it's not. The sibling rivalry that we've experienced in the past has almost all but vanished.
The kids are just more emotionally balanced, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And so whatever rivalry is happening between Miss 9 and Miss 13 is so minuscule that it actually does not enter the equation.
Yeah, it doesn't register, especially compared to how it used to be.
We've taken the TV away.
Yeah.
And
what a difference.
Miss 9's really struggling with this. This is hard, and every day we're still asking, but we're getting through the day without the TV. And that was probably one of my biggest concerns leading into this. How do I not have the TV on all the time? And we're prepping food together. I know that sounds really bizarre, but I love that the kids are actually getting more involved in the food prep, and they're actually, again, have the emotional space to try new foods that they didn't have before because everything felt overwhelming to start with, and now you're going to make me eat a carrot or whatever it happens to be. So while the con is definitely big, finding a rhythm is hard.
Yeah.
And I am really struggling with that. These pros, these experiences that we're having together are just beautiful. And to see the kids connecting and reconnecting with themselves, with us, and with life again is magical. That's the only word I've got for it.
So it sounds like it's a big tick at the moment in spite of the challenges.
Yeah.
At the moment.
Look, we haven't got a curriculum added into the equation, and that will change the dynamics again.
I had a chat with the kids about that. I was like, so there's going to be some learning soon. And they're like, no. Although I did say to our 9-year-old Emily, I said, I'm really concerned that you're not going to be interested in listening to us and being involved with learning once we really start homeschool. And she looked at me and she said, Dad, it'll be okay. I'm going to like my teachers. And I'm like, who are your teachers? Oh, that's us. She's like, yeah. I was very excited about it. Okay, so for my I'll Do Better Tomorrow, I'm going to just share something that has really, really stood out to me in the last couple of weeks. So I've caught a lot of airplanes lately. I've been in Melbourne, I've been in Adelaide, and I've been in Sydney. I've been all over the place for the last few weeks, traveling galore. Sydney a couple of times, in fact. And lately, I've just been watching a series while I jump on and off planes rather than working on the planes.
So you mean while the kids and I have been foregoing TV as part of an experiment to see how screens affect us, you are watching screens?
The whole time you're saying this, I'm trying to think of a really great comeback, a really great explanation, but the answer is yes, I have been. I've got nothing.
You deleted Disney?
I have no defense.
Oh, my goodness.
I didn't actually.
I'm speechless.
I don't know that I can say what I was about to say because I don't want the kids to hear what I was about to say. All I'm going to say is this. There's a series on one of the streaming platforms that we have a subscription to about restaurant life. That might explain a little bit to you about why my behavior in the kitchen has been so focused lately.
Well, I did notice that your breakfast the other morning was restaurant worthy.
It was, wasn't it?
It was.
I've been really.
It tasted delicious.
I made an omelette that was so good you had to try it. And it was the best omelette I think I've ever made. I'm really inspired.
Down to the presentation, you'd even drizzled your balsamic vinegar all around the plate.
I know.
And you had your little bit of rocket on the side.
Yeah, I did. So this show, it's called The Bear. And I need to just really quickly highlight, every now and again when we do reviews of stuff that we've seen, I don't have any appetite at all for really coarse and vulgar language. And it's been really hard to watch this show because the family and the restaurant, there's an enormous amount of dysfunction and there is a lot of coarse language and vulgarity in the program. But the show itself is possibly one of the best shows I've ever seen in my life.
Ever.
I mean, it is incredibly good. Anyone who's watched The Bear would know what I'm talking about. It's
a food show.
No, it's not a food show. It's a proper drama. It's not there's nothing there that tells me how to cook an omelet. I just watched them cook one and I was like, I can do that. And so it's inspired me in the kitchen. But that's not what my I'll Do Better Tomorrow is about. It's not about me cooking. And I'm trying to do this quickly. I promised you I'd be fast and you keep on taking me on tangents. So let me quickly finish. There's this really beautiful scene halfway through.
So we're still at the TV show.
Halfway through one of the episodes in season 2, where one of the most challenging characters in the whole show has a massive change of heart when he goes through a new work experience program. I'm just going to call it that so I don't give any spoilers to people who haven't seen it yet. And as a result of that, he has a really beautiful in-depth conversation with the head chef in a restaurant. She begins to tell him a story about the father that she had but never had much of a relationship with until he died, and she went through his journals and saw all the detail that he made notes of in terms of the way he lived his life. And there was one way that he signed off every single journal entry. And just as she's getting to the real crunch of the story and that last line, she gets interrupted and we never find out what it was. Except as this guy walks out of the restaurant for the last time, he looks up to where the clock is and there's a plaque underneath the clock. And it just says, every second counts. That's a theme that seems to be perpetually running through both series of this show, The Bear, that every second counts. And the whole time I've been watching it, I've been so swept up in the drama and so caught up in the fascination that I have with the incredible work that people do when they work in kitchens and prepare incredible, beautifully plated meals for us to enjoy. I've just accepted that in the kitchen, every second counts. You want to make sure that you've got great food and it's ready and it's plated and it's presented and it's served up nice and hot and everybody's working hard and every second counts. But once I got that additional context from this head chef sharing the story about her dad, it stopped me in my tracks. I put the iPad away while I was on the plane and I stared out the window and I thought, oh my goodness, this is the lesson of life. This is not a kitchen lesson. This is a life lesson. Every second counts. We've got to make the most of every moment. We've got to stop staring at our screens and, just fiddling our thumbs, twiddling our thumbs, fiddling our thumbs, fiddling with our thumbs, twiddling our thumbs, whatever it is, and make the most of every moment. Every moment counts. Every moment has the potential, the power for magic. And I've come home from my last trip, and I'm just so committed to making every second count with the kids. So I got home and I had some work to do, but I made sure that there was story time with the kids, and I made sure that there was hugs with the kids. And because we're so fortunate to live on the Sunshine Coast, one morning I just said, hey kids, let's jump in the car nice and early, and we're going to go to Noosa and walk along the beach and go for a swim in the water while the sun comes up. Making the most of every moment. You don't have to live on the coast to do that, though. Like, you can go for a walk in the park, or you can sit on the front porch, or you can breathe in your living room and just soaking up that time together. For me, that's my I'll do better tomorrow, because there's been so much going on with becoming grandparents and with the whole homeschool thing that we've taken on with the two youngest kids, and with me breaking my back and my neck and still having to travel and work, and I've got a book that I'm trying to write, and all this stuff is sort of building up, and it's the pressure, and we've got to get that plate served up, to use the restaurant metaphor a little bit further. But every second counts. And for me, my I'll do better tomorrow is I don't want to spend 1 second on Facebook or social media doing anything that takes me away from the stuff that matters most. What can I do to make the most of the moments? So that's my I'll do better tomorrow. Tell me that was inspiring. Tell me that really just got you going.
Well, I'm looking forward to an omelet tomorrow morning.
Yeah, omelet coming up just for you. And that would have been way faster, except you kept on asking me all those questions about the TV show, and it was not about the TV show. Have a great weekend, everyone. We're so grateful that you choose to listen to the Happy Families podcast. We hope that it inspires you to greatness in your home. Make every moment count. The Happy Families podcast is produced by Justin Rulon from Bridge Media. Craig Bruce is our executive producer. And for more about making your family happier, visit us at happyfamilies.com.au.